Hi, I'm Jason Concepcion, co-host of the official Game of Thrones podcast, House of the Dragon, here to answer some of your questions about Westeros and the wider world, and this is based on me having read the books a lot of times. That's the heart tree in the Godswood of King's Landing. That is a weirwood tree, deity of the religion of the First Men, called the Old Gods. And that's not blood, it's weirwood sap. And that sap actually has hallucinogenic properties. Hundreds of years after the events of this show, Bran Stark will travel far to the north beyond the wall, and he will consume a paste made of weirwood sap and some other stuff, and he will, I think the term in Westeros is trip balls. In the main, why move up the wedding proceedings? The king and his family and other very important people are going to be there, and the last thing that you need is more violence in the presence of the royal blood that could possibly endanger the succession, as it already is, or potentially injure or even kill the king. Let's get them wedded and bedded and let's move on. It's been confirmed that the CRABFEEDER does indeed have grayscale. Part of why he's wearing the mask is to cover that up. What we don't know is it an active case or has it been cured? Grayscale is, of course, fatal in the long run, drives you insane, and then gives you a body of essentially stone, and you lose your mind, and then you die. But it can be cured. Stannis, of course, cured Shireen. He went through great expense importing maesters and professionals in order to treat her, and eventually did manage to treat her. And in which case, if it is a cured case, though the scarring remains, you're no longer able to transmit the disease at that point. I think really the larger thing is that it was really unwise of Daemon to touch the CRABFEEDER with his bare hands. So the Sons of the Harpy was a group that was rebelling against the rule of Daenerys Targaryen in and around Slaver's Bay. They felt that their traditional rights and culture were being trampled upon by Daenerys's freeing of all their slaves. And that culture descends from the culture of Old Gis. As Old Valyria kind of rose, they conquered that area that would then be called Slaver's Bay, and then they colonized it. So all the people that live there, by the time we reach it with Daenerys, are descended from soldiers and colonists from Old Valyria, but then they took on the culture of Old Gis, so they actually adopted the culture of the people that were there originally. When the Sons of the Harpy wear that mask, it's not that they invented that mask for their movement, it's that they are referencing some ancient part of their culture. We should assume that it's the same thing with the CRABFEEDER. He's wearing that mask as a way to signify his background, where he comes from. That's actually a very, very old symbol that he is then adopting, that will later be adopted by the Sons of the Harpy. So no, there's no reason to believe that he's in the Sons of the Harpy, a group that will not exist for centuries. That is Sir Harwin Strong. He is the oldest son of Lionel Strong. Lord Lionel Strong is the Hand of the King at this time, Lord of Harrenhal. He is Lionel's heir. We heard of him in a previous episode, the episode where King Viserys and Queen Alicent and the rest of the court were going on that royal hunt for Prince Aegon's second name day. You know, Lionel Strong comes up and he wants to give some advice to the king, and this is after multiple people had been giving the king advice, and the advice basically was, hey, Rhaenyra should either marry me or marry somebody that's close to me. And when Lionel came up, the king was like, oh, let me guess, you want me to marry your son, Breakbones. And he's called Breakbones because he's apparently the strongest man in the realm, or at least the strongest man that anybody knows. He's very, very, very strong, and we see that in this moment when he goes 1-on-5 and just like elbows numerous dudes in the face, and then they just go away, and then he like one-armed picks up Rhaenyra and exits the premises. So that is who that is. Well, I gotta go back to the Citadel. Don't forget to watch House of the Dragon on HBO Max.